So the engine section and pretty much the finish off of the build part of the videos. By comparison, this section of the ship's fairly straightforward. The only thing again you got to watch for here is which side's up and which side's down. So do pay close attention to that. That engine plate that you see me working on there now, the bits prop in there and get them glued. You're probably going to want to paint that up before you attach and paint up this here, which is your engine glass. It's on the inside. Pale blue is what they say for the show. It pops on. I haven't glued it with the view of being able to do that later on. And I've got to say, I think there is plenty of room in the engine compartment for a battery pack and lights if you want to go ahead and do that. You can probably light up quite a bit of this model actually. If that's a road you want to go down. There's a fair bit of void space inside. The fiddly bits in this then are just sort of some of the gubbins that go on, like these plates that create a little sort of crevice between the top and bottom halves of the engine assembly itself. There was several plastic stems inside the hull. Just a leftover, frankly, from the casting process. You could be forgiven, as I was, for initially thinking that they were supposed to be there, and it was only when I tried to put that end plate on with the engine glass in it, it wouldn't go anywhere, that I looked a bit closer and then realised that, yeah, they needed clipped out and removed. By this stage, I'd sort of got into the habit of dry fitting pretty much everything just to sort of see was it going to run into any problems, and so it didn't get sliding glue, because yes, I know I'm using super glue instead of plastic cement, didn't have any blah blah blah. Oh boo hoo, get over yourself. As we've said, this is for a war game use, so I wasn't being exactly professional about the whole thing, okay? So there's a number of little bits. Now, yeah, fiddly bit, you'll maybe take a walk in the park. These pieces that go on to these three plugs, both left and right of the engine housing, there's a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it, and I can't really remember. I think you need to start with the back one and work your way forward, or maybe you need to start with the front one and work your way back. But they were a little bit awkward, especially as you can see the amount of fiddling going on. That back one on was just a bit of a dog's dinner. Once you finally get all those done, yes, there was a bit of flash on one on that needed clipped away. Yeah, I'd actually forgotten just how annoying that was. It was quite kind of irksome to get them all to join. Once you get them in, though, it starts to float on a bit quicker. It looks like front to back was the way to go, judging by what I'm watching as I record this. And they just finish off the front of it. Fair bit of detail on them as well. You can see the front of the plug from the engine housing there, and as I say, with the room for a battery compartment, that end plate doesn't necessarily need to be glued in place. It quite happily stays there. So if you wanted to have your battery pack in there and run wires through into the mid section of the ship and down into the landing struts, I'd say you could do it. I'm guessing, because you people know what you're doing better than I do. I'm just kind of looking at it and thinking, yeah, maybe, whatever. And that's it. This stage of it is literally just wee fiddly bits and twirly bits that finish it off and give it all its sort of angular components. There's not an awful lot of exciting at this part. This bit's quite chunky, but I suppose iconic. That the engine section is one of the iconic parts of Galactica itself. There you go, pop on, look at that. Oh, he's all happy with himself now, you can tell. And then I think these are for the underside. Not sure what all these parts are called, not sure what they were supposed to do in the ship in its fictitious life. Probably something very important. Even at this stage, I remember sort of building it, and this sort of sense of, it's a bit smaller than I expected. It's been a bit more awkward than expected, and I sort of thought there'd be more detail. But actually, once I got the base coat of paint onto it, that perception changed immensely. any layer of paint makes a world of difference to this. And I think it's just down to the white plastic. There's an awful lot of the smaller touches are just completely lost. Maybe it's my eyesight too, but in then the white plastic, I feel you don't sort of see it, and then you kind of get the black coat on, and then I've done a coat of grey, and it's like, ooh, look at this thing's really come to life. I don't think I've actually remembered to stick a picture of the primed model into the end of this. I think it's just the finished build at the end, so maybe do like some sort of summary thing or some sort of quick merge vid that takes segments out of all the stages and throws them together for you. But yeah, there's essentially the bits. Now you'll remember earlier on we had the footage of the landing bays here, and they needed undercoated before you put them together, because you're supposed to put, you see at the top of the screen, the little cutout and insert perspective views of the launch bays. In hindsight, I shouldn't have bothered, because frankly, unless you're sticking a wee LED, an orange or red LED, in those launch bays, you're never going to see those. They're so far back and in complete and utter darkness that they make no difference. So if you're not planning on lighting your kit, save yourself the wee bit of hassle. Don't bother firing them in there. They make no difference whatsoever. However, if you are going to stick a little light in, and make sure it's in front of them, because if the light's in behind them, it's not going to shine through cardboard. So if you have a little LED or a fibre optic in there, you have an opportunity to light them up and let them be seen. And when you don't forget to turn your phone to silent, then you don't get phone calls as well. So yeah, I've kind of reached the point where, to be honest with you, I don't have an awful lot left to say about this build. I know we've played the footage at sort of 4 times speed, because I can't imagine anything in this world duller than watching somebody build a glue model kit. I think for me, the interest in a model kit is, oh, big shiny box with cool parts, let's look at the parts, oh, that's all class, I wonder how this goes together. And then, yeah, some sort of passing interest at the assembly. Problems encountered, fair enough, because forewarned is forearmed. And then the finished thing, and then the painted thing. Unfortunately for you guys, the painting side of it, that might be where there's a delay. But it's built. That's the main thing. And yeah, it did have issues. I suppose the only thing I could come across with in some level of a conclusion is that it's quite an expensive kit. There's no denying this was, in my terms, not a cheap model kit to buy. Detail wise, once you see the undercoat, yes, it's very nice, and I think it was worth it in that regard. The little niggles and issues that came with were very annoying, and for me took away a little bit of the enjoyment, and thankfully through what I've done I was able to overcome them. So yeah, I would hesitate to recommend it, but it is nice if you're a fan.